Yo, what's going on, man? Today is April the 3rd, 2024. It's your boy Chris, and this is the ChrisBeCappinn NBA Show, where we're live on Twitter. We're also live on YouTube as well. As always, looking to cash, man. It's another big slate today. NBA has been a little tricky, a little wonky. I took the worst of it yesterday. I mean, I didn't go super heavy. I only had 2 plays, but and then I ended up giving out a live play that also was a loser. But we did go 1 and 2 yesterday, so not the greatest. Cashed on that Toronto and Laker over. I told you guys I really liked that one, and I ended up adding it. Also, had already had Clippers on the money line, which I thought they were in the right spot. And of course, Kawhi Leonard gets ruled out yesterday. I let it ride, and of course, they get smoked yesterday. So injury news got the worst of me yesterday because Donovan Mitchell was also ruled out, and no problem for the Cleveland Cavaliers. They go into Utah and smash the Cavs. Probably should have been on them. And then we also took Milwaukee live at the end of the first quarter. That was a that was a bet that just thinking the Bucks wasn't gonna lose to the Washington Wizards, and they would figure it out, and they get smashed in the fourth quarter as well. So not great at all. About a unit and a half down yesterday, which brings us down to 35 units when we were I think we were up 41. So I need all that back. I need all that back and more. And hopefully we can start the trend in that direction today. So I did handicap most of the games. I didn't get through all of them, but I'll give you guys the notes that I have on the games that I did get to, and then we'll live cap some of them as we did yesterday. I am back home, as you guys probably can see, in the comforts of the man cave. And like I said, looking to get my money back, man. So only one official play that I made so far today. I'm looking to make a couple more, but I want them to be the right side, of course. And I got a bunch of shows that I'm doing today as well. So look out for the tweets. If you guys follow me on Twitter, I will be doing the propcast with my guy Munov at probably about 12:45 Eastern time. And then I'll be on with Ski and Kyle Kerms as well. Well, Kyle Kerms and Ski as well at 3 o'clock doing the NBA show with them as well. And I'm probably going to end up doing a 5 o'clock show. So probably about 4 or 5 shows for me today. Always locked in, always trying to cash. And we're just going to jump right into it for today. As always, hit the like button for me if you can. Let's see if we can find the cash for today. I'm going to get through the comments as I always do. And let's do that real quick. Nando says Miami and Warriors was hot. Yeah, I told you guys those were 2 games I wasn't playing. And I know a lot of people jumped on Dallas yesterday. It's not the greatest look. Golden State, do what Golden State do, man. Never underestimate the heart of a champion. What's up to my guy, Jose? Prolific says, good morning, Chris. Did a little something I feel terrible about. I bet the Lakers. Sorry, I know that's your team, but they come through. They have been coming through. We're going to get into that game in just a second here, LJ. Good morning, Tasha. Appreciate you for being here as well. Tasha says, I said on Sunday's show, I was taking Warriors to beat Dallas and taking them all week. You did say that, Tasha. Shout out to you for sticking to your guns, man. She says Sunday's Warriors didn't cover, but they did cover last night. That's a fact. I was on them Sunday, and they burnt me. Marquise, this is what I said. Heart of a champion Warriors. Never. You don't really want to bet against those guys. I will say now, they are 3 games above the Houston Rockets for that final play-in spot. So, and they got a big game against the Rockets coming up as well. But they've created some separation with the Rockets losing back-to-back games to Dallas, and then last night in Minnesota. And Golden State, won 4 straight games, I think. They won every game on that road trip and came back home and beat the hottest team in the NBA in Dallas. So they are trending in the right direction for sure. Tasha says, but I feel the NBA, I feel like the NBA was rigged for them to announce last. Yeah, that's a fact. Yeah, Embiid was crazy. That was crazy. What up to my guy Free Sauce? Frankie says Timberwolves clinched the playoffs. They definitely did. Justin, top of the morning, my brother. Hope all is well with you, man. Appreciate you for tapping in and being here as always. Nasty slate tonight. Anything y'all like? Yeah, we're going to get into a couple plays for Sauce. Justin says only thing NBA card for him is the Pelicans minus the 4. Free Sauce says only thing he likes is DeJounte Murray over his 25 points versus the Pistons. Could not talk you off, Free Sauce. I might need to write that one down. This is points over 24.5. I could see that. I'm gonna write your name beside it, Free Sauce. I might look a little deeper. I hadn't even thought about player props, but hard to not look towards DeJounte Murray, especially against Detroit. And it's a big game for Detroit. They need to win as well. Tasha says she likes Boston and the Pacers under. She also reminded everybody to hit the like button. Chris says he got he said the Pelicans just dropped the 3.5. You can get the 3.5 or the 2.5 at -130. We'll get into that game. What's up to my guy? LJ. DMP says, let's get the money. Big Chris, not little one. Appreciate that. What's up, PZ? Appreciate you for being here. It's a lot of people in the comments, man. I'm not gonna get to all the comments because y'all going crazy. Appreciate you for being here, though, Nando. Kyra, good morning to you. What's up, Hude? Burns says, I was on the Warriors. Let's go. Yeah, I know you cashed with the Warriors both days, Burns, because I know you told me take San Antonio. I think you told me take San Antonio the other day. Dow says, why didn't nobody tell us the Wizards against the Bucks on the money line? I wish I would have known. Justin says he had Dallas division and Warriors playoff futures. I had no reason to even bet the game, but I died with the Mavs last night. Be like that, though, Justin. You'll get it back. I know you will. My opinion, not yours, says, Chris, can you believe how many locks the Kings defense has been lately? How locked in the Kings defense has been lately? Yeah, they have. You kind of got to rely on your defense a little bit more. I haven't got a chance to listen to the post-game interviews from that game last night. I fell asleep, but it's crazy that their defense has been playing so good. I would agree there, but that Clippers offense, it's not the greatest, man. I can't discredit Sacramento. Their defenses look good. And they're going to have to rely on that without Malik Monk being there for sure as well. But Keegan Murray is really a solid defender. De'Aaron Fox can really play defense. Like, they got some really good defenders. It's just all about if they're going to lock in on that end. What's up, Mark? Nando says Lakers blowout win in this one. Burns says I'm going to the Wizards game tonight. Do you think Bron going to play, Chris? I think he is, Burns. It looked like he's going to be on track. We're going to get into that game in just a second. And I'm going to talk about why I think he's going to play too. I do got a little theory on that. Tone says maybe Celtics and Pacers money line with the Braves and the Pirates money line. These spreads don't work for me recently. I'm right there with you, Jerry. He says, what are Wizards against the spread on back-to-backs? Last time they played them, they went over at crypto.com. We're going to talk about that game. What up, Fox 5? And Dow says, read my comments. I read your comment, bro. I don't know what you're talking about. I did read your comment. You're talking about the Wizards. Chris also says, by the way, good morning. I've been off the board for a while since I had the Rockets -1.5 when they played the Jazz, and they ended up winning by 1. Game blind closed at like 7.5 or 8. I'm back, though. Yeah, that was an ugly, ugly loss there. Let's get into it for today. Twain says it's a lotto day. I couldn't talk you off playing the lotto ticket. Long as you do it appropriately, manage your bankroll appropriately, could not talk you off. Fox 5 said, maybe the Clippers are just that bad. I don't think the Clippers are that bad, honestly. And DMP says I'm on the Celtics -8, Lakers -12. Bron and AD not even on the injury report. All right, let's jump into it for today. So first game up, we do got the Los Angeles Lakers. My Los Angeles Lakers, they will be in DC, laying 12.5 points tonight. Of course, it's the second leg of a back-to-back for both teams. Bron and AD, Coach Ham did say that both of those guys were on track to play tonight. Lakers, they've been hot, 7-3 straight up and 6-4 against the spread in their last 10 games. Coming off a win, taking everybody money yesterday. I know a lot of people jumped on Toronto with RJ Barrett and quickly coming back into the lineup and them getting 12.5 or 13 points. And the Lakers said, nope, not going to have it. And a big reason is, in my opinion, and I watched most of the game, is because the Lakers thrive on teams that can't protect the paint. And we know Toronto, I mean, they got Kelly Olynyk down there. Like, no, I don't know if y'all watched the game. Bron was literally putting his head down, getting to the rim, and whatever it is, whatever shot that he wanted. And teams that can't protect the rim, they really allow the Lakers to get their offense set. And when Bron starts attacking the rim, then you end up having to send the double teams. Then the three-point shots start to fall. And that's exactly what we saw yesterday. Lakers blew the doors off Toronto. This Washington Wizards defense is going to look similar. And here's my theory on the game, too. I think the Lakers will continue to play Bron in these games that they absolutely should win because they're not taxing games, right? You'll be able to rest Bron because this game should be over against the Wizards pretty quickly. And I'm not saying that the Lakers are even going to cover the 12.5. I just think that when I look at the matchup, this is very symbolic of last night, in my opinion. The Lakers should be able to put their head down, get to the rim, score whenever they want to in this game. The Wizards will still continue to be shorthanded. I'm not sure if Kuzma and Tyus Jones are coming back. Got to wait on the injury report to see if those guys are going to play. You actually got to wait on the injury report to see if LeBron and AD going to play. But I do think that they probably will play in this spot, and that's what Darvin Ham reported. Head to head, the Lakers have won the last 3, but the Wizards have actually covered the last 2, including that 134 to 131 overtime game. It's 10.5-point dogs at crypto.com arena, and that game went over to 244. And that leads me to the play. Over. I took the over last night, understanding that the Wizards have been a much better defensive team without Kyle Kuzma out there, without Tyus Jones out there. Like when you start inserting these guys like Johnny Gill and some of these other bench players off the, they have to rely a little bit more on their defense because they can't score. They have also slowed the pace down just a tad bit. But Jordan Poole's been carrying them offensively. I think he had another double-double last night, but like 11 assists against the Milwaukee Bucks. And I can see that kind of continuing in this game. So over 233, I think, is what I gave out last night. And here's the trends that kind of support it as well. First of all, you get a Lakers team that's 9-3-1 to the over when they're playing unrested this season with an average of 242 points combined, right? So 9-3-1 is pretty good money right there. They're also 9-0-1 against this 9-0-1 in their last 10 unrested games, and they're a perfect 7-0 to the over on the road when they're unrested. And those games are averaging about 247 points. You get a Wizards team that's 3-0 to the over in their last 3 when they're playing unrested this season. They're also 6-1 to the over without Kyle Kuzma. So for whatever reason, they're still finding a way to manifest these points, maybe because the books are setting the total just a tad bit too low. 4 of the last 5 in the head-to-head series between the two teams have actually gone over. I think I already said this, but I think the Lakers should live in the paint. I don't think that the Lakers will be locked in defensively here because it's a Washington Wizards team. And I told you guys that yesterday as well. I thought Toronto would be able to score. And Toronto did contribute to that total. They went over their team total, and the Lakers went over theirs as well. We get 2 fast-paced teams, of course. The Lakers like to get out and run. The Wizards like to get out and run. I think it's going to be another high-scoring game. So that's what I had wrote down. As far as the side, I'm not playing it. I'm not laying points with the Lakers on the second leg of a back-to-back. I think they're 3-4 against the spread, unrested on the road this season. So, and I think they're winning by like an average of 4 points. So I'm not doing that, even though they have been covering. The last 2 they've actually covered. So I'll stay away from the spread in this one. But I did go through and write some notes down. So Lakers should live in the paint. I said that already. Similar to last night, they're playing against a team that really struggles to protect the rim. Lakers are 7th in rim frequency, 6th in rim accuracy over the last 2 weeks. Washington 9th in opponent rim frequency. So they're doing a good job of limiting those teams, but they're 28th in opponent rim accuracy. So teams that get to the paint typically get whatever it is that they want. And this was symbolic of last night, right? You see the Bucks come in, they shoot a ton of threes. Malik Beasley couldn't hit the barn side. He couldn't hit the brick. He couldn't hit the whatever they're saying is. He couldn't hit it the barn side of a brick or whatever that saying is. He couldn't make a shot last night. Same thing with Jay Crowder. Same thing with a lot of those 3-point shooters. Pat Connaughton struggled. AJ Green struggled. Like they really struggled to shoot the 3. So I think the Lakers, who have been shooting the 3-point ball well, I think that they rely a little bit more on putting their head down and getting to the free throw line or getting to the paint to score their points in this game tonight. Because the Lakers have been a good 3-point shooting team, so hopefully they're not relying on that. They are number 1 in corner 3 accuracy over the last 2 weeks, but you get a Washington team that's number 1 in opponent 3-point accuracy overall last 2 weeks. So the Washington Wizards defense has been good against the 3. But I think the Lakers should still be able to thrive in the paint. And I think both teams get out and run in transition. So over for me versus the side. Let me see what you guys are thinking and how you would play this one. Let's see. Justin says, damn, not a non-member making demands. That's weird. Yeah, he might get put in timeout, Justin. In all caps too. Read my comment. I'm not looking at that, man. Guru says Lakers minus the 13. Kuz and Tyus Jones come back today. Always mess up the team chemistry. Are they coming back though, Guru? I didn't see anything about them coming back. If they come back, I definitely like the over. Tyus Jones is gonna push the pace even more, and Kuzma's only gonna help. He can't guard anybody, and he's definitely gonna be able to score, help Washington get over this team total. I didn't see anything about Kuzma playing tonight. He could potentially return, though. I mean, we know it's a revenge game. He used to play for the Lakers, yada, yada, yada. But I'm not sure if he's going to return. And remember, the other thing you got to remember is when teams play on the second leg of back-to-back, they don't have to submit their injury report until I think it's like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, something like that, Eastern Standard Time. So you got to wait if you really want to play the side in this one, because there's injury implications on both sides, right? Like, don't be surprised if LeBron sit. I wouldn't be surprised if LeBron or AD sit. Free Sauce likes Austin Reeves over his 5.5 assists at -115. He says it's clear in 6 of the last 6 games. Okay. John says AD over 13.5 boards. Couldn't talk you off there. DMP says he's tailing the over. Let's go. Let's cash it. Free Sauce says Washington ranks 29th against assists, meaning it's Lob City in there. Yeah, it should be a lot of AD tonight for sure. What's up to my guy Frank? He says stop the parlays. I'm right there with you. The broad side of a barn, DMP. My guy, I appreciate you. I was going straight to the barn and forgetting the broad. The broad side of a barn is what I was trying to say. Jose says he likes the over. What up to my guy Dexter? He says he smashed the like button and reminding people to do the same. Appreciate you, Dexter. And Ocean says got mine over as well. Wu says shouldn't we be on the Raptors and Wolves under, or the Raptors team total under? We'll get into that game in a second. Let's go on to the next game. We already spent way too much time on this one. So next game up, we got the Portland Trail Blazers and the Charlotte Hornets. This is I tried to find something, man. I won't lie to you guys. I'll be on it shortly. I'll be on this game shortly. But for a short amount of time, but I couldn't find anything. So looking at, I really wanted to get there with Portland. I do think that they, I just kind of wanted to take the points with whoever was, because these teams have been so bad. I just wanted the dog. So for Portland, Jeremy Grant listed as doubtful. Anthony Simons and Matisse Thybulle look like they're listed as out already. You get a Portland team that's coming off 1 day's rest. This is the 5th of a 7-game road trip. Not the greatest spot there. They're coming off a 1-point loss, however, though, as a 17-point dog against the Orlando Magic. And I do think I got to take some time and really dig into it because I didn't really get to this morning, trying to get the graphics up and, get through the games as quickly as possible. But Portland is a different team, in my opinion, when Aiden plays. And Aiden's going to play in this game. I think that's one of the reasons why they covered against Orlando and, potentially almost won that game as a 17-point dog. Their defense is so much better with him down there. They become a better rebounding team. Of course, their offense gets a little bit better. And granted, their offense is not great. But I don't want to lay with Portland here, if I'm being honest with you guys. This Portland team, sticking to Portland right now, they are just 8-29 straight up, 19-18 against the spread on the road. So slightly profitable on the road. They've lost 10 straight games in a row, and they're 4-5-1 against the number. On the Charlotte side, this is why I wanted to get there with Portland. Charlotte has Miles Bridges listed as doubtful. They have Micic listed as doubtful, and he's like they're outside of him and Trey Mann, they're the only playmakers on his team. You also got Grant Williams and Brandon Miller both listed as questionable, even though Nick Richards is coming back. So this Charlotte team is already depleted. No LaMelo, no Seth Curry. Of course, Gordon Hayward is traded. No Mark Williams. And now, these are rotational players. Miles Bridges, Micic, Grant Williams, Brandon Miller, all of these guys. This is a game, to me, it feels like Portland should be able to win if some of those guys don't play. Even if they all play, honestly, I just feel like Portland eventually got to win the game. Charlotte also, 1 day's rest, 4th game in 6 nights, and it's the 5th game of an 8-game homestand. So not necessarily one of the fade teams in that spot, but this team is 10-27 straight up at home and 17-20 against the spread at home. Both losing trends there. Only 2-8 straight up and 4-6 against the spread in the last 10. I feel like if a team is 2-8 straight up in their last 10 and they're laying points, I feel like I got to take them. I didn't look too much into the total, even though I would lean over just because the number is so low. Portland is 7-3 to the over in their last 10. Charlotte 6-4 to the over in their last 10, including 5-1 in their last 6 games as well. So last 2 weeks, Portland's offense has been the second worst. Charlotte's defense has been the worst. Portland taking the 9th most shots at the rim, converting at the 4th highest rate. Charlotte can't protect the paint. They're 23rd in opponent rim frequency, 24th in opponent rim accuracy. But Charlotte they do have advantages specifically from the above the break 3. They're 2nd in frequency there, 13th in accuracy, and Portland's been giving it up. 14th in opponent above the break 3 frequency, and 26th in accuracy. So for whatever reason, Portland hasn't been able to defend the 3-point line, and Charlotte's been jacking from out there, specifically from the above the break 3. I think you could just pick a 3-point shooter that's going to play for Charlotte and bet their over prop, because Portland's defense has been so bad guarding the 3-point line. Neither team really running the break. I really want to take the points with Portland here, but definitely spent way too much time on that game. Just wanted to give you guys my thoughts. Let's see what you guys are thinking in this one before we move on to the next. Probably nothing. Tone says, stop the parlay. Powerful. I'm putting together a 6-legger right now, bro. Pacers, Suns, Red Sox, Pirates, Phillies, and Braves. That's funny. Free Sauce says, fake Kelly rebounds. At Woo Rizza, AD blocks for 2 milli. Free Sauce says he likes Benton over his 9.5 rebounds plus assists. Couldn't talk you off. Benton has been hooping. Jose says a pass for him. Young OG says what I said. This is a 1-800 gambler game. I'm trying to extract the value if there ever is any Young OG. But I agree with you. I'm probably not a bet I'm gonna make, but I want to take the points for Portland here. Jared says when a bad team is laying points, you take the other side and on the money line, and I agree. Definitely agree there. Groove says Blazers money line. Hornets terrible against bigs. Aiden should feast, and I agree. And they need a win, man. Portland has lost. Like I said, I know they lost 10 straight. I'm not sure how many they lost in a row. Blazers are mid, a.k.a. mid versus mid. Benton props a good look. No Richards either. Aiden points. So Richards is off the injury report, Free Sauce. I think he is going to play in this one. DMP says Hornets are playing good ball and losing at the same time, but Aiden been hooping. This is truly the definition of a pick 'em. Flip a coin. Heads, Portland. Tails, Hornets. I could definitely see that. Chris says he's waiting for better games to chime in. We're gonna get into some better games here. Nando says he likes the over. Tasha says I did take Portland over 105. Let me write that down, Tasha. Let me look a little bit deeper into that. Portland team total over 105 here. Portland offense been so bad, man. Yeah, I'm not taking the Blazers though, Jared. I see you down there. All right, let's get over to another game, man. Let's go to another stinker. We got the Pistons and the Hawks. Hawks laying 12 in this spot. Total at 223. Let's jump into it. So looking at Detroit, Cade is listed as Cade and Sasser both listed as questionable. Fontecchio is out. Jalen Duren, I think he got his tooth knocked out, but he did go through practice yesterday, and he's off the injury report in this one. You get a Pistons team that's coming off 1 day's rest. It's the first of at least a 4-game road trip for them. They're coming off an 8-point loss. It's a 2.5-point favorite in Memphis just 2 days ago. And this team has been bad. 6-30 straight up, 19-17 though against the spread on the road. Just 1-9 in their last 10, and 4-6 against the spread. So they haven't been covering numbers. This is a big number, of course. And it opened at 12.5. Money actually came in on Detroit to cover in this spot from last night when I wrote my notes down. So looking at Atlanta, they have 1 day's rest. It's the first of a back-to-back. They actually got a game in Dallas tomorrow. They probably get smoked in that game. So, probably want to put their best foot forward here. They're coming off a 12-point win as a two-point dog against Chicago Bulls on Monday night. This game is big for Atlanta. Not as far as covering the spread, but they are a half a game behind Chicago for the 9th seed in the Eastern Conference. Remember, the 9th seed hosts the play-in tournament over the 10th seed, right? We got to remember that. So you do, like, if you Atlanta, you do want to win these games. You can't lose this game to Detroit. Atlanta is 20-18 straight up at home, but just 15-23 against the spread at home. They haven't been covering. 6-4 straight up and against the spread in their last 10. To me, when I was going through and looking at it, this seemed like a big Jalen Johnson game. Someone that puts a ton of pressure on the rim versus a defense that really struggles to protect the paint. From a head-to-head perspective, before I jump back into the X and O's, from a head-to-head perspective, Atlanta has won 7 of the last 10, and they've covered 4 of the last 5. So for whatever reason, we know that the Knicks typically beat up on the Pistons, and Atlanta also typically beats up on the Pistons a lot. I do kind of feel like Detroit, looking at them, the worst offensive rated team over the last 2 weeks, they're only averaging 102 points per 100 possessions. In Atlanta, the number 1 overall offensive rated team over the last 2 weeks. So worst offense versus best offense. Detroit one of the reasons why their offense has been so bad, they can't shoot the three. They're taking a ton of shots in the paint. A lot of those coming, short mid-range. They're fourth in frequency. Atlanta actually limits those shots. They're fourth in opponent frequency, but they are 20th in opponent accuracy. So if Atlanta can keep Detroit outside of, taking those shots that Jaden Ivey likes to shoot, that Cade Cunningham likes to shoot, there is a path, it feels like, for Atlanta to be able to win and potentially cover this game. So now you flip it. You look at Atlanta's offense. They've been shooting a ton of threes. Detroit's defense has actually been solid versus the three. They're seventh in overall three accuracy, which is crazy, and top 5 and above the break three accuracy over the last 2 weeks. I think Atlanta should be able to live in the paint here. Last 2 weeks, they're 10th in paint frequency and 6th in points. I'm sorry, 6th in paint accuracy. So they have been getting to the rim. In Detroit, that's where they struggle. 20th in opponent points as far as frequency, and 29th in opponent accuracy. So every team defending the paint a little bit better than Detroit outside of one other team, because they're 29th in opponent accuracy. So no play on this one as of now, but I do kind of think that Detroit should be able to score. I think Jalen Johnson specifically, when I do the prop cast, I'm going to look a little deeper, but Jalen Johnson was somebody name that I wrote down, because I think either him or, somebody like, I know Free Sauce mentioned DeJounte Murray, or Clint Capella double-double in a win. Like something like that should cash in this game. I'm probably going to stay away from the big spread. Maybe even the Atlanta team total over. But Jalen Johnson props kind of feel points plus rebounds or something like that. Feel like that should be the way to go in this game. Let's see what you guys are saying here. Stan Banyama says all the bricks they shoot tonight gonna sound like Baghdad. Nando likes Duran double-double. Jose likes DeJounte Murray. Tasha says Atlanta team total over 118. This makes a ton of sense to me, Tasha. I'm gonna write that down. I didn't even look into the team total. Team total over 118. Stay away from the spread. Jose likes DeJounte Murray double-double. Free Sauce says I actually like Capella double-double at -105. Atlanta at least 117. I hope for Ocean Man. And Hawks -12. I can't pull the trigger. What's up, Lightbearer? Appreciate you for being here and tapping in. Jared says hoping Jalen Johnson assists come out at 2.5. He didn't start last game. And DMP says Hawks all day, Chris. Boosie in the building. Boosie stay in Atlanta, man. He always at the Atlanta games. Free Sauce says Capella double-double is -105. Hit 6 of the last 7, 3 of the last 4 head-to-head, and 5 of his last 6 home games. Free Sauce be doing his research, man. Appreciate you for dropping all those stats. And it makes sense, definitely in this matchup. All right, let's keep going. Another stinker. It's a lot of stinkers today. We got the Memphis Grizzlies. They will be in Milwaukee taking on this Milwaukee Bucks team. So on the Memphis side, Desmond Bane is already listed as out. John Contra is doubtful. I think Brandon Clark, he isn't on the injury report. Jerry Jackson Jr. also not on the injury report. You still got Gigi Jackson out there. I think Luke Kennard is out there as well. So you get a Memphis team coming off 1 day's rest, last of a 3-game road trip. They have played. Hold on. Is this the last? I don't think this is the last game of a 3-game road trip. Maybe it is. Let me check real quick. I wrote it down. I just want to double check and make sure I got that right. Memphis been at the crib? Yeah, I'm right. Okay. Yeah, last of a 3-game road trip for the Memphis Grizzlies here. They have played 6 of their last 7 on the road. So typically that's a flat spot. When you had to do so much traveling. This Memphis team, of course, has been better on the road than they've been at home. 17-22 straight up, 22-17 against the spread, though, when they're on the road. They are just 3-7 straight up, but 5-5 against the spread in their last 10. So they've been mediocre at covering spreads right in the middle. You get a Milwaukee team. I didn't see the status of Damian Lillard. Of course, he didn't play last night in D.C. Patrick Beverley also left that game. He's listed as questionable in this one. So you do get a Milwaukee team on the second leg of a back-to-back. It's their first game back home after a short little 3-game road trip as well. They are 29-8 straight up at home, but just 17-18-1 against the spread at home. 5-5 straight up and against the spread in their last 10. They've not been looking great. I think just 1-4 against the spread in their last 4 as well. Milwaukee just kind of not being able to, like really sustain. They're not shooting the ball well either. But you do get a big revenge spot here. If you guys remember back to the night before the All-Star break, Memphis, they beat this team as 14-point dogs in Memphis. Memphis is also, for whatever reason, they play the Bucks really, really well, no matter who's out there. They're 4-0 straight up and against the spread, their last 4 matchups versus Milwaukee for whatever reason. So going through and looking at the numbers, Milwaukee should be able to take advantage of Memphis in this spot. They're the 27th rated defensive team, are the Memphis Grizzlies over the last 2 weeks. Memphis is also 28th in offensive rating. And this is a revenge spot and a bounce back spot because they lost last night. Of course, the Bucks lost last night as well after losing as double-digit favorites against the Washington Wizards last night. Milwaukee hasn't been shooting the three well. I just kind of talked about that, which is a weak spot for Memphis's defense over the last 2 weeks. They're actually the worst defense as far as opponent three-point accuracy. But Milwaukee's shooting just 33% from the three, which is the 4th worst over the last 2 weeks. Memphis is also the 2nd worst defense versus the fast break, which Milwaukee should be able to get out and push the pace, even though they haven't been over the last 2 weeks. So they're just 18th in frequency and 16 in points scored via the transition bucket. I think the Bucks early in this spot, man. I think Bucks first half is the play here. After losing a game the way that they did as such big favorites, and we saw what happened after they, was coming off back-to-back losses. They went into Atlanta and really took care of the Atlanta Hawks. And this Grizzlies team is a worse defense and a worse offense than the Milwaukee Bucks. And I know that they give them matchup problems. I kind of told you guys that. But for me, it feels like Milwaukee should bounce back in this spot. I think I would look at Milwaukee early, revenge spot, bounce back spot. I think it's got to be Bucks here. First half, minus the 6.5, is minus the 6, minus the 6.5 is the way that I think. I think, and you want to wait too. Like you want to wait, see if Dame's gonna play. But it shouldn't really matter though. You just need the Bucks to be able to make some shots. They're gonna get them. Malik. I think, what did the Bucks shoot from 3 last night? I know it was terrible. They shot real quick. Let me pull it up. They shot really, really bad from 3 last night. And that's what a Washington defense that does a really good job of defending the 3-point line. Milwaukee shot 48 threes. Pretty much half of their shots. They only shot 103 shots. 48 threes, shot 23%, 11 for 48. I think that they shoot the ball better tonight. I would look at Milwaukee. Malik Beasley shot 1 for 10 and had 5 points, 2 for 13 overall. Like, that's not going to cut it. Outside of Chris Middleton, even Brook Lopez shot 0 for 4 from 3, had 6 points. Jay Crowder, 1 for 6. Bobby Portis, 0 for 3. Pat Connaughton, 3 for 10. Like, they stunk it up last night. Outside of Chris Middleton, who shot 3 for 8, everybody else was pretty much trash. AJ Green shot 2 for 4, but he only played 13 minutes. So, yeah, this is a spot where it feels like, to me, Milwaukee should be able to bounce back. I would look at them first half in this game. Let's see what you guys are thinking here. Free Sauce says Grizzly spread. Laugh a lot. Ain't nothing anyone can say about Milwaukee to make me side with them again. They got clapped up by Denny Avdia and Jordan Poole yesterday. Despicable. Yeah, they're very despicable. Guru likes Milwaukee minus the 13. He says Memphis has no scores. Milwaukee usually blows teams out in Milwaukee. They do play a lot better at home, Guru. And I want to say they're one of the best first half teams at home as well. I know it's Boston. I know it's Memphis. I know it's Boston. I know it's New Orleans. But I want to say they're also one of the best first half teams. Real quick, let me look at the first half spread real quick for Milwaukee. Specifically at home, though. I don't want nothing to do with them on the road. But I do think it's a bounce back spot, like I said. Yeah, Milwaukee's the third best ATS team at home. 23, 12, and 2 is the third best ATS record at home this season. Last 10 games, they're 6-4 against the spread in the first half at home specifically, which is also second best behind Boston, Houston, Sacramento, Orlando, and Charlotte. All of those teams are 7-3. So, yeah, I think it's Milwaukee earlier. I wrote this down. Didn't play it yet, though. DMP says, Dame playing, sign me up. They'll cover tonight. Without Dame, I'm on Giannis points, rebounds, and assists to go over. He got to do everything just to win without Dame. And I agree. I definitely agree. I think this triple double cash last night. I think so. Will Rizzo says Bucks team total over is the only play for him. And Jared, this is an excellent point. He says no news yet, but I can see Middleton sitting out. And I do think that Middleton is going to sit. I do think he's going to sit, which is probably I think the defense gets a little bit better. Their offense gets a little bit worse. I mean, of course, it's going to get worse. You need Middleton out there, especially if Damian Lillard doesn't play. Mark says Bucks on my do not bet list. I could see that. Boo Rizzo says first half over or full game. Giannis talking to the media, saying that they need to get back on track. And I would agree. I got to go through and look at the post game interview. I didn't catch that either. Lim says Bucks for sure. Nando says he likes Memphis plus the 13. It's a difficult game. Boo Rizzo says they shot terrible. I was on the over 120.5. They nearly got there still shooting like that. Yeah, that's a fact, Boo. That's a fact. LJ, my guy, what's up, LJ? He says definitely agree Bucks first half at home, 23-12 at home first half. Tasha says she can't trust the Bucks. Jared says sounds like Bucks team total over. Remind me of the Denver game against Cleveland this weekend. And Free Sauce says Bucks are 1-6 without Dame. Trusted numbers. DMP says, bro, Middleton needs to retire already. He got them old knees. Yeah, I think they're trying to manage his minutes for the playoffs. He's not going to be able to keep, in the playoffs, you won't play back-to-back, so he should be fine to go. But yeah, they are treating him like Al Horford, man. Like, eventually he got to get back right? Let's see. Let's go to the next one. Thunder and the Boston Celtics. So this was a game that I kind of wanted to look at live with you guys. This is an ESPN game, of course. This line opened, I think, with Boston laying. What was Boston laying at the beginning? They were laying, I want to say it was 8. Let me just double check it real quick. I want to say it was 8. I didn't see the number when it first opened. Yeah, 8. Now it's up to 9 at most books, and the total went up from 227.5 up to 231. So some money coming in on the over, some money coming in on Boston. Hate to say it, but I think that they're going to play because it's an ESPN game, but SGA and Jalen Williams are both listed as questionable. And yesterday, somebody was asking me about OKC and Philly, and I told you got to wait on the injury status. No idea that Embiid was going to come back after he was already ruled out. Maxey was going to be ruled out after he had missed the game against Toronto the day before and didn't return. And then also you had SGA and Jalen Williams, which I thought at least one of them would play, and both of them ended up sitting. So for OKC, of course, it's the second leg of a back-to-back, but it's also a third game in 4 nights and a fourth game in 6 nights. So not the greatest spot for OKC, even though SGA and Jalen Williams could return. They do play well on the road, 23-15 straight up, 19-19 against the spread on the road, 7-3 straight up, but just 3-7 against the spread in their last 10. They haven't been covering. For Boston, everybody should be healthy. The only person I saw in the injury report is Jaylen Brown. He's listed as questionable. You get a Boston team that's first game back home after a 6-game road trip and 1 day's rest. Major revenge spot here. We know that they, got smoked. They've actually lost the last 2 times that they've played against this Oklahoma City Thunder team. But Boston also is 32-3 straight up at home. Best home record in the league. 20-15 against the spread at home. 8-2 straight up. 6-4 against the spread in their last 10 games. So this is probably the biggest game that Boston has left on deck. And with OKC losing yesterday to the Philadelphia 76ers, the standings, and I honestly, I have no idea if they're going to, try to keep going here for, as far as the standings go, because Minnesota won yesterday, which and Denver won yesterday as well, which puts Denver number 1 in the Western Conference, a half a game ahead of Minnesota and OKC. But OKC is probably not winning this game. I know that OKC on the second leg of a back-to-back has been a very, very profitable trend this season. Real quick, let me just take a dive into that. But I don't know about this one, man. I do think that the numbers are a little inflated, though. OKC is 7-5 straight up and against the spread. They have lost their last 2 on the second leg of a back-to-back. They lost to the Lakers and lost to the Rockets. Of course, they lost to the Rockets without SGA. They're also 8-3-1 to the over in this spot. So it's really not their offense is just really, really good on the second leg of back-to-backs. They scored 126 against the Rockets. And granted, that game went to overtime, but it makes sense why the total came up in this one. They still should be able to score in this one. So I wanted to go through real quick. I'll do this live. I just want to look and see um, matchup advantages for both teams. And specifically, I want to start with OKC's offense to see if they're going to be able to score against Boston, which they probably should, because Boston's defense has taken a step back over the last 2 weeks outside of that game. I mean, they just gave up how many? They gave up a ton of points to Charlotte. So OKC's offense also taking a step back. The 11th in points scored per 100 possessions over the last 2 weeks, 10th in effective field goal percentage. Not doing anything great, honestly. They're not top 10 at anything. They're 10th or worse in everything. Struggling to get offensive rebounds. Boston's defense is also bottom 10, 21st in points allowed per 100 possessions, in opponent effective field goal percentage, not forcing any turnovers. The only thing Boston is doing a really good job at is limited teams from the free throw line. The number one in free throws, limited opponent free throw rate over the last 2 weeks. Offensively, Boston has still been really good. They are third best offensive rated team over the last 2 weeks. Fifth in effective field goal percentage, not turning the ball over, turning it over at the third fewest rate. Net rating, and they're both about the same. Boston is a plus 7.1, which is 12th. OKC is a plus 5, which is 14th. Matchup wise, let's see. OKC is shooting a bunch of shots from the long mid range. The number 1 in frequency, number 8th in long mid range accuracy, which bodes really well because Boston is bottom 10 in both of those. 23rd in long mid range frequency for their opponent, and 27th in long mid range accuracy. So that's one major matchup advantage for OKC here. OKC is not shooting the 3-point ball well, though, which is troublesome because that's where Boston has been really struggling. They've been giving up a ton of threes, allowing teams to shoot almost 40% from the 3-point line from all three shot zones, from all shot zones, I should say. OKC still getting out and pushing in transition, 5th in accuracy, 5th in frequency, and 5th in points scored via the transition bucket. Boston limiting teams to the third fewest transition opportunities over the last 2 weeks, but they are 26th in points scored allowed. I'm sorry, points allowed. So they're not doing a really good job when teams do get out and run in transition. So will OKC be able to run? Could be a big question to answer in this one based on the numbers. If we flip it and look at Boston's offense versus OKC's defense, Boston continuing to shoot a ton of threes. Third and above the break 3 frequency, 6th in corner 3 frequency, first in overall 3 frequency, shooting the most threes and shooting it at the 10th highest rate, shooting 38% from the 3-point line. Let's see. So OKC's defense hasn't been too bad. They're 9th against the corner 3, but allowing the 28th most attempts. So teams really getting up the 3-point ball a lot from the corner against them. They are 6th at limited above the break 3s, but 17th in accuracy. I'm sorry. So yeah, this is a game, and neither team really getting to the rim or putting a lot of pressure on the rim. Boston has not been running a fast break. They're 29th in frequency over the last 2 weeks, 12th in points scored. OKC 7th in opponent frequency as far as pushing the fast break, and 17th in points allowed via the transition bucket over the last 2 weeks. So while you can wait on the injury report, I do kind of feel like it's a tad bit too many points. I know it's the second leg of a back-to-back. I know Boston has been really, really good at home, but it's OKC plus the points in this game with nothing for me at all. Let's see what you guys are thinking about this one. And that was already kind of how I was looking. Let's see what you guys are thinking. I went through the game, so y'all can listen to all the numbers if you want to. Y'all said a lot on this one. Let's see if I can get to the first comments. Go back up to here. Chris says, the signs yesterday pointed to OKC resting SGA and J. Will for today's game. I just thought 9.5 was too many points. I took OKC last night plus 9.5, checking to see if I can be talked off for cash out. I'm with you, Chris. I'm with you. The Chris is aligned on this one. It's OKC plus the points for me as well. I couldn't talk you off. Nine is a very, very big number. Yeah, it's a big number. And you got Boston first game back home off the road trip as well. Freestyle says, can't really say anything till I get that SGA and J. Will playing, and I would agree. But if you want it, I think you probably want to jump in a little early in this one. Boston could struggle to even blow this team out without those guys, because we know if they get rolled out, you'll get a better number. And Boston don't typically cover those big numbers Not all the time anyway. They play with their food, especially when other guys are, not listed out. They typically play well in the first half. Nando says, my Thunder almost did it last night, riding with them again tonight. SGA and J Will, points, rebounds, and assists over. I'm right here with you. Got beat up yesterday. Only three plays, but I did go 1 and 2. Right there with you. Bliss says Thunder 6-0 versus Celtics last 6. Okay. Jose said I can see OKC covering this game. Freesaw says one thing I will say: OKC is the best back-to-back cover team in the NBA. I don't know if they're not the back. They're not the best. Freesaw. Actually, you'll never believe this. Portland is the best back-to-back cover team in the NBA. And I was about to look it up, but I don't even need to. I remember that one. Portland actually covers the most games on the second leg of a back-to-back. They something like 11-2 against the spread on the second leg of back-to-backs. Fox 5 says if SGA and J-Dub are and the lines come out and lines come down, I'll take the Celtics on the spread first half and full game. I'll also take the Celtics team total first half over the 59.5. Okay. Tasha says, yo, know me. I'm on Boston. Tasha loves Boston. Jeff likes OKC on the money line. Justin also likes OKC plus the 9 in his pocket. He says he got that on his card. Dominique says Celtics. Jose says Boston first half though. Guru says Boston minus the 9. Boston loves to outplay hyped up teams and best home team. Some valid points there. I don't know if they beaten OKC. Real quick, let me look at something real quick. I want to see, this comment makes me think. Let me see what's the most amount of points that the Thunder have lost by on the road this season. So 23-15 straight up, 19-18-1 against the spread. Let's see. They have lost by, they got smoked by the Mavs. So they do have some double-digit losses in here. It looks like they've lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They've lost 6 games by double digits this season. They lost to the Clippers by 11, by the Lakers to the Lakers by 12, by the Spurs by 14 to the Spurs, which is crazy. 16 to the Pistons. That was on a Sunday. I'll never forget that. Lost by 25 to the Bucks. I remember that game. And they got smoked by the Mavs too on a Saturday. I remember that game, lost by 35. So they have 6 double-digit losses on the season. They lost by 9 2 times against the Nets and against the Rockets. And of these 6 losses, 2 of them have come on no rest. The Clippers and the Lakers, and both of those games were on the road as well. They didn't cover either spread either. So yeah, take that. And I was just curious to see what that looked like. Road dogs rest equals 0 for the Thunder. Not the greatest spot. It does lean to, I think I like the over a little bit more than anything else. Now that I'm talking it out and I'm looking at the numbers, I know I lost some value already. OKC Boston over the 231. I'm looking at the Thunder as road dogs unrested this season, 2-0 to the over. They played the Hawks, got smoked in that game, didn't cover the spread. They were getting a point in that game. Gave up 141 to Atlanta, and then to the Clippers. And I remember being on the Clippers in that game. They were laying 6. They were getting 6. That was the 5th game in 7 nights, if I remember correctly. They lost that game and gave up 128 points. So Celtics team total over could also be in play. But you got to think if SGA and J will come back, they should cover this spot. They are 0-2 straight up and against the spread, playing unrested on the second leg of a back-to-back, though, just so you guys know. Appreciate you for shouting this out, Guru, making me look a little deeper. Nando likes OKC plus the 9. What's up, BJ? Chris says, yo, Chris, this actually opened at Boston minus 9.5. It's come down. So I think money on OKC came in. Could be wrong. Just wanted to point that out. Got it at plus 9.5 on ESPN Bet when it opened last night. Now, you're probably right, Chris. Typically, I'm on these lines the day before. When they open around 2, 3 o'clock the day before, I typically look at the line and screenshot them so I know what they open at. I didn't get a chance to do that yesterday because I was traveling, though. So you're probably right. You're probably right. And then I use Wager Talk Live iScreen to show me what the lines open at. And it's not the most accurate. It's the most accurate based on like the big sports books, but some of the smaller sports books that put the line out earlier, they don't track that. So couldn't talk you off. Jared likes Derek White over his 5.5 assists and a potential ladder up to 8 at plus 240. He says 16 potential assists last game. OKC giving up the 5th most assists in their last 7 games. Tatum triple-double for Tasha. She says OKC should have played J-Dub to SGA and Philly and conceded this game. I was thinking the same thing, see. DMP says later points, Chris. No SGA. I can't bet against Boston. Either we cash or we don't, but I'm not fading Boston. SGA ain't been ruled out, though, yet, DMP. He has not been ruled out. I'm interested to see how well he feels, even if he does play. Like, do we get a fully healthy SGA in this spot? Like, I'll go through and do some deep digging before I place a bet in this one, just to see how he's feeling outside of, see if I can find anything, how he's feeling outside of, just the injury report. Jose says Tatum, he will get his for sure, but a triple-double? Nope, not on my card. Chris says, my only concern with OKC is they have played a lot of games recently, and of course, this being a back-to-back, if SGA and Jay Will are ruled in coming off rest, I feel good. And that was my thought as well, because if I can look at I can look at the Thunder outside of just being on the second leg of a back-to-back. I can look at them real quick. Let's look at this. Rest plus previous rest plus previous rest will give me fourth game in 6 nights. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so yeah, this should give me fourth game in 6 nights. Yeah. So on a fourth game in 6 nights so far for the Thunder, they are 12-9 straight up, 10-11 against the spread. They're winning by an average of 5 points. Let me just add if they're on the road. They are 4-5 straight up, only 3-6 against the number though. But they've been dogs in this spot, and they still winning by an average of 1 point. So lost to the Knicks. Well, didn't cover to the Knicks, but beat them because they were laying 2 and 1 by 1. Didn't cover against the Pistons. They lost that one outright. That was a 4th and 6. They beat the Timberwolves in this spot, beat the Jazz in this spot. But at the beginning of the season, back in January, they lost to the Clippers, lost to the Jazz, lost to the Lakers, lost to the Nets, lost to the Hawks, and didn't cover any of those. So what about if they're a dog? 2-3 straight up, 3-2 against the spread, winning by an average of 2 points. 4-1 to the over. So more support towards the over. Those games are averaging 247 points. I think over. Over seems like the best play. Yeah, I think over. Boston defense actually not been, hasn't been that great either. Real quick, let's look at the Celtics after the All-Star break versus good teams. Celtics. Celtics are 7-2 straight up, 6-3 against the spread versus teams that have a 55% win percentage or higher since the All-Star break. They are 5-4 to the under, and they typically are playing better defense in these games. These games only averaging 223 points. They beat the Pelicans in this spot 104-92 just a few days ago. They beat the Bucks 122-119. That game did go over. They beat the Suns 127-112. Won and covered that one. Beat the Suns again 117-107. Won and covered that one, but lost to the Nuggets, lost to the Cavs. One of those went over, one of them went under. Beat the Mavs 138-110. Let's just add if they're at home. So at home, since the All-Star break versus a team that has a 55% win percentage, they smoked the Sixers by 18. They beat the Mavs by 28. They beat the Suns by 15. And they beat the Bucks by 3 and didn't cover. But they are 3-1 to the over. Everything to me is trending towards the over. These games are averaging 236 points. So yeah, I think I like the over a little bit more. I have wrote it down. I'm about to put a circle beside it so we can keep going to the next one. But I appreciate you guys this is live capping. I'm just live capping the games right now. Free Sauce likes Tatum over his 4.5 assists. He said he's cleared in 3 of the last 5. He had 8 last head-to-head matchup. Jose likes what else are you guys saying here? Nando says only if OKC had a bigger center, this would definitely be a glimpse of the 2024 NBA Finals. I don't even think you really need a bigger center, honestly. Not against Boston. I think Chet matches up well against Porzingis, and not a lot of teams can say they got a center that match up laterally that can move their feet the way Chet can. He's very versatile. So I don't know if they need a better center in this one, a bigger center in this game specifically. What else? What else y'all saying? DMP says take Boston against non-conference teams. They are 3-0 ATS in non-conference, 20-15. John says SGA over 28.5 points if he plays. I know he's battling a quad injury. CBS Sports says SGA and J-Dub are out for sure until Friday. I would need to confirm that. I see them listed as questionable, and I don't trust CBS Sports. Who they sources? I trust Underdog. But you could be right though, Guru. You could be right. Let's see. Let me just make sure. Remember, these injury reports don't got to be submitted for teams on the second leg of a back-to-back. Like they can literally play with us all day long until they want to release the information. What else are you guys saying? Tone says always fade OKC. That's my motto. Fade OKC and Timberwolves. Anytime it looks like the spot they will cover. They suck. I don't know about that. BJ says Boston first half might be a good look. Dante says 9 is a lot of points. Denver winning. They're getting 7 and 1 outright. That's a fact. Denver was healthy though. Even if SGA plays, how healthy will he be? Aaron says playing catch up here, but I believe the Pistons have a profitable ATS record when catching double-digit points. We went over that game already, Aaron. I don't want to go back, but I don't think it is super profitable. It might be slightly profitable, just real quick, because Pistons are 18-14 against the spread as a double-digit dog. If they're on the road, they are 12-10. So it's slightly profitable, about 54%. But I think this was more profitable before the All-Star break than after the All-Star break. After the All-Star break, 4-4, 6-2 to the under. 6-2 to the under. Only averaging 102 points in this spot. That makes me think Atlanta and Detroit under the 224, and it's dropping too. It's still down to 223. Something else on the circle. Okay, appreciate that. Free Sauce says love the insight. Like and subscribe, y'all. LJ says Boston team total over is the best bet for them until the playoffs. Staying away from that defense. I could not talk you off here, LJ. We know that they have not been the greatest defense. I gave you guys those numbers at the top of the breakdown. Nando says, someone please tell me when last OKC lost back-to-back games. I can look into that too. Let's go Thunder and Thunder lost back-to-back games on February the 11th. Whoever they lost to the Kings. They're 6-0 straight up. Coming off back-to-back losses though, and they don't have back-to-back losses. So yeah, but February the 11th is the last time they lost back-to-back games. Let me confirm that. I want to make sure I got it right. Yeah, they lost to the Jazz and they lost to the Mavs. Back-to-back games. They lost the 6th and the 10th against the Jazz and the Mavs. There you go, Nando. Tone says if SGA plays, fading OKC. If OKC is missing players, maybe they will cover. All right, cool. There's too many comments, man. I'm taking too long. Mayne says Celtics have beat every team in the league except the Nuggets and the Thunder. Yeah, that's a good point, Mayne. That's a really good point. Free Sauce says Suns have no identity. We'll get to that game later, because they do play tonight. And OKC center too skinny. I don't think Porzingis is not big, man. Though, so I disagree there. BJ says I see the revenge here. Erica says Pacers over, Bucks over, Suns over. We'll get to those games in a second. YouTube user says, hey, Chris, did you go over the Wizards and Lakers game? I played the over, YouTube user. Played the over in that game. What else? Erica also says Wizards with the points lock of the night. Okay. Lock. Okay. What else y'all seeing in this game? Boston revenge, Tasha says. Erica says, Tasha, you want to do a friendly bet? they cover the spread, $50. Okay, we got the side bets going on during the show, man. Let's go to another game. Let's go to another one. We got the Pacers and Nets. Pacers laying 7 points on the road. Road favorite 7 points. Total 235, 230 and a half. And we got a a little back to back in this spot. So this was another game that I didn't get too deep into. But I will say this: I think the Pacers offense is going to look a tad bit different if Miles Turner can't play. I know he jammed his finger real bad or dislocated it or something. He left the game. He didn't return. And the Pacers, I should have just played the Pacers the other day. I talked about that on Monday. They smoked the Nets. They smoked them twice this season. So you do get a double revenge spot for the Nets here. I'm not sure if it matters, though. Remember what I said about this game when I broke it down on Monday. Everything that the Nets like to do, the Pacers defend well. Everything that the Pacers like to do, the Nets struggle with, right? So you get a Nets team. So just looking at the trends, the Pacers are 20-19 straight up, 20-16-1 against the spread on the road. So slightly profitable on the road. They're 6-4 straight up and against the spread in their last 10. You get a Brooklyn team that's 17-20 straight up at home. They have been profitable at home though against the spread. They're 19-15-3, just 3-7 straight up and against the spread in their last 10 though. And outside of that win that they got against they got hot against the Bulls. I mean, this team is bad, man. The Nets are not a good basketball team. It's just how focused are the Pacers going to be. We know taking them off a loss is a lot more profitable than taking them off a win. Taking them off a loss has been more profitable than taking them off a win. But remember what I said, and it holds true because this is exactly what just happened. What do the Pacers like to do? They like to get to the rim, put a lot of pressure on the rim. They don't shoot a ton of threes. The Nets defense is only good against the three. That's the only place their defense is good. They allow a ton of points in the paint, allow teams to get to the rim at will, and the Pacers don't want to be down there playing that style of basketball in the first place. I'm not down there, but shooting a bunch of threes. Pacers also like to get out and push in transition. The Nets struggle against teams that push tempo. And then on the opposite side, what do the Nets like to do? They like to shoot a ton of threes, above the break threes, corner threes, and the Pacers' best defense is their ability to defend the three-point line. They do an okay job at the rim as well. So it's difficult for me to take the points with the Nets here, but I don't want to take the Pacers, especially when they've beaten this team twice. It maybe a look towards the under because the last game went over and the Pacers scored so many points. Maybe the Nets pride themselves on playing a little bit better defense here. Pacers offense, I think, plays a little bit better at home than it does on the road. So slight look towards the under, but I didn't play the game. Just kind of giving you guys some initial thoughts in this one. Not a game that I really looked too deep into because I knew it was either Pacers or nothing, but I don't like the spot as much for the Pacers here. Let's see what you guys are saying here. Oh, look. Tasha says 100 to Erica. Okay, we got some friendly fire in the chat. Erica says it's a bet. Wizards plus 13. So it's live on the ChrisBeCappinn Show, live at 9:40. The bet has been placed, man. Saint says it's rigged. Nets on the money line. Dante says no Miles Turner over. I was thinking the same thing, Dante, but he hasn't been ruled out yet. He is still listed as doubtful. I know he's still listed as questionables. What else? Free Sauce likes Cam Thomas. He says he's averaging 20 field goal attempts over his last 10, over the last 3 and 4, and 5 of 5 in his last home games. He should eat in this game. Pacers, I don't think that they'll be motivated. This is the spot where I don't think the Pacers will be extremely motivated. Livestone says, nah, fellas, we got to bring that same energy now. Tasha says, no, good luck. I'll follow my rules and I won't bet against Boston and Denver. Erica likes Pacers games. Take the over 230. So little look towards the over. Erica came out of nowhere. Erica, you been on the channel before or you new? Because you dropping the fire in here, dropping the plays off and dropping the bets off as well. DMP says, bro, live capping helps so much. Appreciate it. I'm taking Nets in a sneaky spot at home. Yeah, I mean, one thing that I know has been super profitable is you just think about this angle in all seriousness. When you got a team that's at home as a dog and they've already lost to the opposing team twice, first of all, you're going to get a better motivation, especially when you just got smoked. The Nets covered that last game in a trifecta spot. They won the first quarter, first half, and full game. It was never close. And from the Pacers' perspective, you're going into this one, even if Miles Turner plays, he's not going to be the best version of himself, right? And then you think about the motivation. You're like, oh, man, we got a game in Brooklyn. Like, maybe I'll hit up, Melo, see if I can get on the podcast or something. because, man, we just smacked the Nets already. So we'll win this game no matter what. And they're not as locked in. Then you think about the Pacers coming off a win, and they're not as great. We know we want to take them off as a dog. So, yeah, it's Nets or nothing. But that's the way I kind of look into it, DMP. Free Sauce likes Halliburton over his 2.5 threes. He says the Nets defense allow point guards to score, but they don't defend their assists and the paint well. And Erica also going Hornets money line. So we opposite there. Erica also likes the Rangers in baseball and the net. Oh, Rangers in the NHL and hockey, and the Mets in baseball. I could drop all the plays off. Free Sauce, Halliburton over his 2.5 threes, hit 4 the last 4 as well. He has been shooting the ball a little bit better. Prolific, he says, everybody, I'm not in the business of gambling. My patience pays off. Not in a rush to get to the window. That's a fact, Prolific. That is a fact. Chris says, if I had a free bet, I would take the Nets plus the points, but no way in hell I'm putting my real money on the Nets at this point. And that's how I feel. That sums it up for me as well, Chris. It does feel like a net spot, though. Jared says, Miles Bridges, 18.5, 31% field goal usage last game, and he plays well on back-to-backs. Okay. Oh, Erica says she's a Pick Dogs follower. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. I've checked the channel out before. BG Platinum says, I like the under when teams play each other on the second of the back-to-back, and I would agree there. What else you guys saying here? Free Sauce says, Nets have no reason to tank with no picks and no reason to play since they can't get to the play-in tournament either. They just here in limbo. And I agree, Free Sauce. I absolutely agree. Eventually, you got to play for pride, though. Pascal Siakam over 21.5. I couldn't talk you off of this, Tanari. Not anything that I looked at too deeply in, but I couldn't talk you off. Nando says can't back the Nets here, and Stat Pat Halliburton will be looking to eat. She says I agree, definitely agree there. All right, let's keep it pushing. Let's get to the next game. We still got I think there's a few more games. Magic and the Pelicans, another one I wanted to talk out on the show. I didn't dive too deep into this one, but interested to see what you guys are saying here. We got an Orlando team off 1 day's rest. It's the first game for Orlando after 8 straight home games. They're coming in off a 1-point win as a 17-point favorite against the Portland Trail Blazers in that last game. So you could say they're teetering on a loss, or you could say that they learned a lot from that game. And I think that's what Jalen Suggs said after the game. Orlando is not as strong on the road, 17-19 straight up on the road, but they are 22-14 against the spread on the road. So they have been, I think Orlando's still, if not the most profitable, the second most profitable team this season. And they are 7-3 straight up and 6-4 against the spread in their last 10 games. I think they get a motivated Pelicans team here. Pelicans team coming off 1 day's rest, 5th straight home game for them. And they're just 1-3 straight up and against the spread during this current 4-game homestand so far for the Pelicans. They've really been missing Brandon Ingram, and they've really been playing against some dogs that's coming in and beating them. Specifically, the most recent one was the Phoenix Suns. Went in and beat them as a 1.5 point. Pelicans were actually laying 1.5 points, and they lost that game by 13. They were losing by, 18, I think, at halftime. At the end of the first quarter, it was like 46-28. They were getting smoked in that game from the start. They did make a late run in the third quarter, but Devin Booker, he just went crazy in that game. I'm not sure if Orlando can do that, though. Orlando will come in here and play a much different game. They'll play a defensive game. Not as much offense in this one. You get a Pelicans team that is 21-16 straight up, 20-17 against the spread at home, 6-4 straight up, 5-5 against the spread in their last 10 games. This is what I thought was interesting in this game. For whatever reason, Orlando plays the Pelicans really, really tough. They're 8-2 straight up in their last 10 games. 8-2 straight up and against the spread in their last 10 games against the Pelicans. They won and covered 4 straight. All 4 games, last 4 games the Pelicans have played the Magic, the Magic have covered all 4 spreads and won all 4 games. So it's not the greatest matchup for the Pelicans for whatever reason. And now you get an Orlando team that's a little bit healthier against a Pelicans team that's not as healthy. I think I like the Magic here just talking this one out. And I didn't even do a deep dive into the game. As far as the total goes, before I look into the spreadsheets, Orlando is 8-2 to the under in their last 10 games. They're 5-0 to the under in their last 5. Head-to-head totals are 7-3 to the over, though. But the Pelicans have also been trending towards the under. They're 6-4 to the under in their last 10 games. So will Orlando be able to bring the defensive energy in this game? I think is going to be the question. And their defense has been excellent. They've been super solid defensively. Pelicans will be motivated and fired up in this game, though, because they are coming off, a few losses in a row, specifically that last one against the Phoenix Suns. It seemed like they just can't get Phoenix right. So let's match these two teams up real quick. I actually need to write some of this stuff down. Orlando's offense first versus the Pelicans defense, and then we'll flip it. All right. So looking at Orlando's offense, last two games, I know it's been bad. They are 22nd in points scored per 100 possessions, 24th in turnover percentage, which is not good. They're turning the ball over at the sixth highest rate. But the Pelicans defense isn't really forcing a lot. They're 16th in turnover percentage. Orlando plus 7.7 in net rating. Granted, they've been playing a super easy schedule. The tough games they played, they lost. Golden State came in, got a win. Sacramento came in, got a win. Clippers came in and got a win. And now you're playing against another really tough Western Conference upper echelon type team, and you're on the road in this spot. So they are plus 7.7 in net rating, which is the ninth best, versus a New Orleans Pelicans team that's 18th. But they're 18th in net rating, minus 0.7. So if I look at strength of schedule, I'm pretty sure it'll favor Orlando. Real quick, let me look at strength of schedule. Orlando, New Orleans. Yeah, it's not even close. Orlando, the Pelicans' strength of schedule has been much more difficult than the Orlando Magic over the last 5 games. All right, so that's Orlando's offense versus the Pelicans' defense. Pelicans are doing a good job of limiting opponent offensive rebounds, which is something that Orlando typically likes to do. They're giving up the third fewest. Looking at the Pelicans offense, it's not been good. And this is probably the signs of Brandon Ingram and the strength of schedule as well. They're 24th in points scored per 100 possessions, 21st in that department, 21st in effective field goal percentage. They are doing a good job of protecting the ball, giving up the 6th fewest turnovers. Offensive rebound rate, not getting a bunch of offensive rebounds, and Orlando's not giving up a bunch of offensive rebounds. Pelicans also 5th in free throws, so they are getting to the free throw line a lot. Orlando, the best defensive rated team, only giving up 104.1 points per 100 possessions. 4th in effective field goal percentage, 5th in turnover rate, so forcing the 5th most turnovers, even though the Pelicans aren't turning the ball over, and 9th in opponent rebound percentage as well. All right, so looking at this, Orlando's offense is not, they're getting to the rim at the 6th highest rate, shooting the 13th best percentage at the rim. And they're also shooting a ton of corner threes, which we've known this for a while. Shooting the 4th most corner threes at the 19th best percentage. So not shooting the ball well at all, 37% from the corner three. It looks like they're going to struggle to score in this game outside of being able to get to the rim. The Pelicans defense has struggled against the three-point shot. They are giving up a ton. They're giving up the second most threes over the last 3 games. Over the last 2 weeks. 44% of their opponent shots are coming from the three-point line, either above the break or the corner three. But Orlando's not shooting the three well. They're 16th in accuracy, 11th in above the break three accuracy, and 19th in corner three accuracy. So that doesn't bode well. Orlando also never pushes the tempo. 21st in frequency as far as transition, 27th in points per possession via the transition bucket. So bottom 10 in all of those. And the Pelicans are top 5 in stopping transition points. So I don't like the matchup for Orlando's offense outside of them being able to get to the rim. They should be able to get to the rim. 6th in frequency, 13th in accuracy versus Orlando defense that 13th in opponent rim accuracy, 13th in opponent rim frequency, and 27th in accuracy. So Pelicans not really stopping anybody once they do get in the paint. Let's look at New Orleans real quick. So let's flip it. Go New Orleans versus Orlando. So if we flip it and look at the Pelicans offense versus Orlando's defense, that number 1 rated defense, what do we see? We see that the Pelicans are getting to the rim, third most frequent rim team over the last 2 weeks, but they're not making shots. 27th in rim accuracy. Orlando limiting teams to the eighth fewest rim shots and 17th in opponent rim accuracy. So about middle of the pack as far as that goes. Outside of getting to the rim, though, the Pelicans haven't been shooting a lot of. There's not one shot zone that they frequent a lot. They haven't been shooting threes. 23rd in opponent. I'm sorry, 23rd in overall three frequency. Not shooting it well either. 19th in accuracy. And Orlando's defense has been solid against the three. Fifth in overall all three accuracy. Second in corner three accuracy. 14th at above the break three accuracy. They're giving up a ton of shots in the long mid range. Orlando is 16th. They're giving up the most, and 16th in long mid range frequency for their opponent. But the Pelicans aren't shooting the ball there. 28th in long mid range frequency. A lot of that is probably because Brandon Ingram has not been playing, but they are shooting the third best percentage there. So while they aren't taking many shots there, when they're taking them, they're making them, shooting 51%. As far as transition goes, New Orleans is 14th, so they're not getting out and running. About middle of the pack in frequency, middle of the pack in points scored. In Orlando's defense, I didn't know this. They actually struggling against transition. 25th, so they're allowing the fifth most transition opportunities. And opponents are scoring the 18th most points per transition bucket over the last 2 weeks. So this to me kind of feels like an under spot. Neither one of these offenses have been great. The Pelicans 21st, Orlando 22nd. Neither team shooting the three-point ball well. This to me feels like an under. Where did the total open? Let me go back real quick. 209 is down to 208.5. Yeah, this to me feels like an under spot. It definitely feels like an under. What do you guys think about this one? I know that was a pretty long cap. Let me see what you guys say in this one. Pels take my money last game. Need it back tonight, Dando says. Dante says Pels early. I could see Pels early, especially with Orlando first game off a long road trip. I'm sorry, a long homestand. Remember, Orlando has played 8 straight games at home. So that makes sense. Tasha said they took her money too. Free Sauce says Zion under his 5.5 assists, hit 9 of his last 11. Orlando ranks number 1 against assists. This makes some sense here. I feel like that number is down as well. Orlando, they might not be able to score, but they're going to lock up. Nando says, first play, Pels minus the 4. Livestone says, Chris, I'm curious if you have an idea how playoffs will shape up. Any future picks? Think Dallas can make a run? Curious what the season has told you about the top teams. This is a loaded question, Livestone. Maybe I'll get back to this one. I'll start and come back to it later. But I do think if I had to, and I said this a couple weeks ago, if I had to make a live bet, a future bet, it would be Denver to win the West. I'm sorry, Denver to finish number 1 in their division. That was just something that I really taken into consideration. I think Minnesota's been playing well. OKC's been playing well. But I think Denver had the easiest schedule of the 3 teams. Like this 3rd and 4th and 4th and 6th for OKC. OKC's probably going to lose tonight. And before Denver won last night, you probably could have got them at maybe plus money to win the division. So that was the number 1. I don't really do too many futures. Shay is how that's pronounced. I'm thinking it's pronounced like Shet. Like I'm saying Shay is how that's pronounced. Okay. Burns said y'all got to be careful in this Pelicans game. It's a very trappy game in his opinion. Dante says I put the Pelicans in timeout, Chris. Can't bet on them right now, magic or nothing. I said this the other day. I said, man, I need a bigger sample size without Brandon Ingram. And I've been off the Pelicans game since he got hurt. So yeah. Frank says total too low at 209. Justin reminding us that he took the Pelicans minus the 4 with confidence in this spot. Tamari says Jonas under half a 3. No idea if he's going to be shooting threes or not. Fox 5 says 208 is definitely too low. So here's what I'll say about people that saying 208 is too low. And remember, yesterday I was the person who said that that the Knicks and the Heat game was too low. And I said if I was playing that game, it would go over. And it did end up going over. This Magic team, they struggle to score, and they struggle. They barely got to, remember, Portland defense is bottom 5. They couldn't score against Portland. I think the Pelicans defense is a little bit better than Portland's. And I think the Pelicans are going to be super motivated in this spot. And the Magic, the top rated defense in the league. So if they're going to do anything, they're going to be able to slow teams down. The Pelicans like to get out and not get out, but they like to shoot a ton of shots at the rim, as I just kind of said. Orlando's defense is strong there. So I know y'all saying the total too low. I think this is an under type game. Just based on looking at that. I'll look a little bit deeper into it, but under 208.5 is what I'm kind of looking towards right now. I know the Pelicans defense hasn't been good, but they've been playing against much superior offenses than this Orlando offense. And that's just my opinion. Erica got another bet. She says, Jose, I'm calling you out. Mets win today. She got $50 on that. Erica tossing it around today. Shay says Paulo Banchero looked gassed. Yeah, but he had a couple days off. DMP said Erica ain't going at everybody. She's a shark. Yeah, she's looking for the money, says that girl, a true gambler. What else y'all saying? Jose says they need a win, but don't mean they will win. That's a fact. Bounce back spot, Mark says, and a revenge spot for the Pels here. Tasha, Erica asking how she gonna get paid. Justice says love Erica's energy this morning, and the Mets do win. Let's see, Chris. First love I see for the Magic here. He says I took the Magic plus 4.5 last night. I cashed out this morning. Took the Pels minus 1.5 in the first half. I'm reading this comment live, so I did not know that was coming. He says the line is moving against me now, and I have a better's remorse. Laugh out loud. Not feeling confident no matter which way I go. Oh man, that's funny. Hey, best of luck, Chris. I hope you cash, man, and come out profitable with this proposition. Nando says seems like an under game that would favor Magic. I would agree. Man, that's funny. DMP says need more women's sports betting opinions. Love the energy. I agree. I definitely agree. If y'all want it, Tasha, you want to pull up on the show? Eric, you want to pull up on the show, man? Y'all let me know, man. Y'all let me know. Tasha, I like this comment. She says, if I win, I want to donate $100 to the breast cancer organization. Provide receipt in my name. I like that, Tasha. I like that a lot. LJ says, this is definitely an under 209. Already? Bet it. Like it, LJ. I'm probably going to get there with you. What else y'all saying in the chat? I can't keep up with all the comments. Free Sauce says, Trey Murphy over his 5.5 rebounds, over 9 of his last 10. Just iffy because we know the Magic excel at rebounding as well. Yeah, Magic are one of the better rebounding teams in the league. Everybody out there like 6'12". Like they got so many tall players. I know 6'12" isn't the real height, but they got a lot of big players. Tasha says she can't trust the Pelicans. I agree. Changed my mind. Pels money line, waiting for a Magic plus 7 or 6. Just remembering Magic needed heading for the number 4 seed. I agree. What's up to my guy, Bryant? He says, man, 4 in my pocket. What you got, Bryant? Let me know what you got. DMP says, you're right, Chris. When I see low totals, I go under. It's low for a reason. Celtics team total over. Been cashing. Erica says, and I agree with this one as well. Guy said this is the perfect matchup. Yeah, you look at the Pelicans offense that's been struggling, right? And this is the last thing I'll bring up on this game before we get to the next one, because I know people are saying over, and it's under nothing for me. So looking at the Pels real quick, let's just look at them in their last. Matter of fact, let's look at them without Brandon Ingram. So in the games where since the 20th, right? So we're looking at about the last 2 weeks. The Pels are 3-4 straight up, 2-5 against the spread, losing by an average of 1 point, 4-3 to the under. They played the Magic. That game went over. They played the Heat. That game went under. The Pistons. That game went under. But he got hurt against the Magic, right? So they beat the Heat, but that was a revenge spot. They beat the Pistons, but everybody was doing that and still doing that. They beat the Thunder. That game went over, but it won't because of their defense. I mean, it went over because of their defense. They beat the Bucks. Bucks offense been struggling. They beat They lost to the Celtics, only gave up 104 points. That game went under, and they lost to the Suns, a very elite offensive team. So this one to me screams under, man. It definitely screams under. I look at the good defensive teams on here, the Celtics, the Thunder, they just play with a lot of pace. The Magic don't play with as much pace. It's under. It's under for me or nothing at all. Understanding that the last one did go over the 207 and a half. Yeah. But they gave up 121 points. I don't think they did giving up 121 points today in this spot. They gave up 121 to the Magic in this spot last game. All right, let's go to the next one. Let's see. Raptors and the Wolves. We don't got to stay here long, but I did want to talk about this one as well. So we get a Toronto team, which I think, is really important to wait for the injury report here. I know I said it a lot, but Toronto, got RJ Barrett and quickly back. It's not 100% sure that they're going to play in this game, and you're not going to know until probably last minute. Both of those guys could be. I didn't see them listed as questionable, but don't be surprised if they pop up as questionable today. You also I did see Bruce Brown listed as questionable and Abaji listed as questionable. He hasn't been playing the last few games after falling on his hip real bad. So for Toronto, second leg of a home road back-to-back, third game in 4 nights, first game, first of at least a 4-game road trip as well. First game after a 4-game home stand. They are 10 and 26 straight up, 19 and 17 against the spread on the road, 0 and 10 straight up, and 1 and 9 against the spread in their last 10 games. This has not been a good team. Now, we got to remember something about the Timberwolves. They don't typically cover at home, especially these big numbers. Only 18 and 19 against the spread at home. This is the second leg of a back-to-back for them as well. Also a third game in 4 nights. The last game of a 3-game homestand. They got a big game against the Phoenix Suns on Friday in Phoenix as well, which makes this game extremely difficult to cap. Head-to-head, Toronto has played this Minnesota team really, really well, no matter who's been on the floor for whatever reason. They're 8-2 straight up, and against the spread in their last 10 games against the Minnesota Timberwolves, including 1-0 this season, of course, 97-94. They won that game in Toronto, laying a point in that game. For some reason, Minnesota just doesn't play well. I don't know if they overlooked this team or whatever the case might be. I think whenever I want to play a Timberwolves over, it scares me because I know that their offense can be extremely stagnant. So I won't tell you guys anything on the total, but I will say this: Toronto, while they are 7-3 to the under in their last 10, they are 3-0 to the over in their last 3. So they have been. We cast on the over yesterday. Just not sure if Toronto. I know the Timberwolves won't be extremely locked in. This is what we see with Timberwolves. They lose to the Bulls out. They beat Denver in Denver. Lose to the Bulls outright. Come back. They win last night against Houston. I think they finished. I don't know if they covered the full game spread, but I think they got a push on the opening number at 7. So this was a game I didn't dive too deeply into. I'm not extremely interested in playing the game. Of course, Rudy Gobert, Anthony Edwards are always going to be listed as questionable as well. I'm more so curious just if you guys got to play in this one. I think I'll stay off the side and the total in this game because the Timberwolves could absolutely come out here and crush the Raptors if they're motivated to do so. But the Timberwolves also just haven't been an extremely profitable team, specifically at home, laying these big numbers. So Timberwolves as double-digit favorites at home, just 4-8 against the spread. They're winning these games by an average of 12 points. They failed to cover 4 in a row and 5 of the last 6. Yeah, 5 of the last 6 the Timberwolves have failed to cover. And if they're unrested in this spot, they're 1-2 straight up, but 3-0 to the over. So yeah, I was thinking over in this game. 215 seems like a pretty low number, and the Timberwolves should be able to score. I think the Raptors should be able to score as well. So Toronto and Minnesota over 215.5 or nothing at all for me in this spot. And it's really just a spot that I think the Timberwolves are not going to be extremely motivated in. Let's see what you guys are saying in this one. Going back, Erica says Tasha has left the chat. Jose says, nah, Tasha us is a lifer. Yeah, Tasha definitely here. She says, I'm here. Provide cash out, but if I win, I want you to donate the money to the breast care. Oh, so she's taking the money and donate it in her name. Tasha, that's a flag. Shout out to Tasha. She said, oh, I read these comments already. I'm getting lost in where I'm at. There's so many comments coming in. Jose says Celtics team total over, nice under in the Pelly's Magic. I like it. I like it. Matthew says nobody enjoys alt spreads. If you know who's gonna win the game, for sure, Matthew, put a little change on the alt spread. Brian says -4. Talk the text to not too accurate. Sorry, bro. Pelicans tonight. He likes the Pelicans to bounce back. Fox 5 says, in case it goes over, just know I bet the under. I've not won a bet when I got on the under so far this season. Dang, that sucks. I hope you haven't been playing too many. And totals have been weird, man, which is why I'm kind of staying off and going light. Erica says, see you guys tomorrow. What time the show? So I can collect. It'll be around the same time, around 8:30 tomorrow, Eastern Standard Time, Erica. Under is the favorite spot for the Magic, Nando says. What else you guys saying in this one? Toronto, no Toronto lines, but Faye Kelly Olynyk rebounds and assists. Yeah, King Endo, my fault. I did say that wrong. The Pels didn't. They lost that game to the to your Thunder. My fault. Yeah, I do a show at 5 as well, and I will be doing the evening show. It'll be a shorter conversion of this one because this one looking like it's gonna be super long, but it'll be shorter than this, Erica, as well. Fox 5 said not rooting for the Wolves yesterday, and they still messed up in the fourth quarter. Nando says took the over last night and the Raptors +13. So this line is the Raptors not going with you, but hopefully you got some value on the over. DMP says, Chris, this easy as pie. Wolves are nothing. I don't care what the numbers say. Raptors are donkey. Next game. Chris says, I did have the Rockets +8.5 last night against the Wolves and Cavs. So Rockets covered early line. Yeah, okay. I thought so too. DMP says, I might look at Raptors team total under. They get into 100. I think that they can, though. I think that they can. Appreciate this comment, Guru, as well. What else y'all saying? Tasha says Warriors full game, Warriors third quarter, and under 232. Guru says RJ Barrett is playing with extra motivation, losing his brother. Just keep that in mind for his props. I agree with that. And Tasha says, Chris, I said in Chris chat Sunday, I was taking the Warriors to beat Dallas. Ask me, she did say that. Go back and look. The comments there. All you gotta do is scroll to the game and all the comments will come up. All right, let's keep pushing. Don't sound like y'all too interested in this one. I think it's the last game. Finally, get to the last game on the board. We got the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Phoenix Suns. Another game where I hate to say it, but I feel like you kind of got to wait on the injury report because the Cavs on the second leg of a back-to-back, of course. Donovan Mitchell didn't play in that game yesterday. They were able to get the job done without him. I think Isaac Okoro also on the injury report, which you definitely need him when you have the offensive time the Suns have on the other end. So for Cavs, outside of it being a second leg of a roll back-to-back, it's also a third game in 4 nights and a fourth game in 6 nights for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Also the third game of a 6-game road trip for Cleveland as well. 22-16 is their record on the road. They are 18-20 against the spread on the road, so not profitable there. And just 4-6 straight up and 3-7 against the spread in their last 10. It kind of feels like the injuries have made this team very, very. We were cashing on Cleveland earlier this season, but they've been very inconsistent as of late. They play a good game, they play a bad game. I took the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Denver Nuggets team full game under on Sunday at halftime. Because I knew how bad the Cleveland Cavaliers defense had been against the three-point ball, but I thought that it would pick up. I was like, man, this game will slow down. And it probably should have cashed, but you see a couple late threes hit by Denver Nuggets, like bench players. And I think one of those ended up, making the full game go over. But the Cavs have really struggled, man. I'm not impressed with what they did against Utah yesterday. If you go back and listen to the show from yesterday, and this is one of the reasons I'm beating myself up for not taking the Cavs, is because I said the Cavs play well. Their defense, struck the three-point line. They do well everywhere else. Like you're not really gonna get too many points down low on Jared Allen and Evan Mobley. Excuse me. With that being said, the Utah Jazz really struggle to shoot threes, and that's why they got smoked yesterday. The Phoenix Suns do not struggle to shoot the three-point ball. So I don't like the spot as much here. Now, of course, you might get arrested Donovan Mitchell, but like I said, third game in 4 nights, fourth game in 6 nights, second leg of a back-to-back, and the third game of a 6-game road trip. Not the greatest spot for the Cavs here. Phoenix don't typically cover at home. While they are 22-14 straight up, they're only 14-22, 14-22-1 against the spread at home, and they've covered just 6 of their last. They've won and covered 6 of their last 10 games, so 6-4 against the spread is straight up. 1 day's rest, first game back home after a 5-game road trip for the Phoenix Suns here. And they got a big game against the Minnesota Timberwolves, conference game against the Minnesota Timberwolves on Friday. This is, however, though, a big game for Phoenix as well. And here's the reason why. Because the Lakers, who have won 7 of their last 10 games, they're only a game and a half behind the Phoenix Suns in the Western Conference. And the Phoenix Suns are actually tied with the Sacramento Kings. So the Lakers and the Kings aren't doing the Phoenix Suns any favors here. Remember, Phoenix has the hardest, the most difficult schedule left in the NBA as well. And the reason why it's significant for Phoenix to win is because they don't want to finish they don't want to finish in. So the Lakers are in what? The Lakers are in the 9th spot. You don't want to finish in the 8th spot. You want to get up to the 7th spot if you possibly can, because the Kings own a tiebreaker over Phoenix. They got the same exact record. Both teams are 44 and 31 right now, but the Kings hold a tiebreaker. The loser, when the play-in tournament starts, for people who don't know, the loser of the 7-8 matchup will actually get to play and host the loser. Will host the winner, of the 9-10 matchup, right? And then the winner of that will end up being in the 8th seed. So if you're Phoenix, you definitely have to keep winning these games. I told you guys 2 games ago, but when Phoenix lost in OKC, that I'm not betting them. And I can't bet Phoenix because they're just wildly inconsistent. Probably one of the more inconsistent teams, especially with the amount of talent that they have. They also got Grayson Allen listed as questionable with a hip injury in this game as well. I forgot to mention that. And it's a revenge spot for Cleveland. They were shorthanded in that game, and Phoenix did beat them 117-111 about 3 weeks ago. It's March 11th. They were laying 7 points. They didn't even cover that game, and the game went over to 221. This is a game that you kind of feel like Cleveland should bounce back in, but I can't put my money on either one of these teams. Extremely inconsistent teams. My thoughts is just that you got to wait on the Donovan Mitchell news to see if he's going to play. You also got I was about to call him Gerald Levert. You got Karis LeVert listed as questionable for the Cavs. Like I said, Grayson Allen, I think he's big to this game because we know how I talked about how vulnerable the Cavs can be giving up threes. And the Phoenix Suns are a team that shoot a ton of threes. So, like I said, the Cavs win against the Jazz was a game that we should have been on. Shout out to everybody who cashed with the Cavs last night because I definitely should have been on them. But this isn't the Cleveland Cavaliers. This isn't the Utah Jazz here. And they're probably going to be tired. Second leg of a back-to-back. Let me see real quick. This is one thing I didn't look into. We got plenty of time for this game start. But just looking at the Cavs when they're arrested this season, I feel like they're not as great. They are 5-8 straight up, 5-7, 5-7-1 against the spread, playing unrested this season. Losing by average of 3 points. Let me just add if they're a dog. They are 1-5 straight up, 3-3 against the spread, losing by an average of 8 points. Lost to the Suns in this spot, but did cover. Lost to the Hawks, didn't cover. Lost to the Pelicans, didn't cover. Lost to the Celtics, but did cover. But that was way back in November. Let's see if they're on the road in this spot. So the Cavs unrested and on the road, 3-4 straight up, 3-4 against the spread. Lost. They failed to cover the last 3. Failed to cover against the Bulls. They're laying 5.5. Failed to cover against the Hawks. They were getting 3, and then failed to cover against the 76ers. Lost that game by 7, and they were laying 2 in this spot. So not the greatest spot for the Cavs here. Suns being the more rested team, it's really just dependent upon if Donovan Mitchell's going to play and what effort you get for the Phoenix Suns. So I won't harp on this one for too long because I feel like I already talked about it too much. But I can't bet Phoenix. I'm just not betting Phoenix. Like I feel so bad when I place a bet on Phoenix and they lose by 20 points and they got Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, and Bradley Beal. Like it really grinds my gears. So I can't bet Phoenix. It feels like they are the right side in the game. I do think Cleveland can keep this one close too, but like I said, wait on the Donovan Mitchell news. Let's see what you guys are saying here before we do a quick recap. DMP says next game, Chris, too much on the Raptors. They trash. That's a fact. Justin likes the Cavs plus the 5.5 on his card. Richard says, like I said yesterday, Spider for 45. Freesaw says KD 2.5 threes, hit 4 of his last 4 and 3 of his last 4 at home. I'm sorry, in the head-to-head matchup. King Endo says, yeah, Phoenix sucks. Owen says, I know it's off topic, but I have a play for plus money. Emmanuel Valdez under a hit plus 120 on Bet365. He doesn't have a hit this season. Okay. I don't even know who he is or what team he plays for. Or who the other pitcher is, but I like the plus odds, and I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense. Richard says Suns choke and are chumps. Told you yesterday the Jazz were chumps. I think you did call that, Richard. Big props to you for that. Burns says huge game for the Suns. I agree. Smokey says tricky spot here, but I like the Cavs in the first half. So maybe they run out of gas late is what Smokey likes. Burns says if I had to bet it, it would be the Cavs probably. Guru says Suns rest of the season. They're trying to make sure they lock up that 6 seed over the 226.5. Maybe it's just a look towards their team total to go over. Because if they can start making threes, Phoenix Suns defense is the Cleveland Cavaliers defense is vulnerable to the 3-point shot, like I told you guys. And that was not even something that I need to really look into. We talked about it yesterday. The numbers haven't changed that much. If anything, it'll look a little bit better. But it'll look a little bit better just because they played against the Utah Jazz yesterday. And like I already said, the Jazz are one of the worst 3-point shooting teams over the last 2 weeks. So looking at Phoenix against Cleveland, I'm sorry. Phoenix against Cleveland, defensive numbers for Cleveland. They are Cleveland. Yeah, second worst 3-point defense, allowing opponents to shoot 43% overall from 3. Third worst above the break 3-point defense, allowing teams to shoot 42% from there. Corner 3, allowing teams to shoot 45%. And that's what Phoenix has been doing really, really well. They're actually number 7th in corner 3 frequency, 6th in accuracy, number 9 in above the break 3 frequency, number 2 in accuracy. And overall, the Phoenix Suns are shooting the 9th most threes over the last 2 weeks. 40% of their shots have been coming from that shot zone. And they're the best 3-point shooting team in the NBA, shooting 43.3% over the last 2 weeks. So Phoenix has major matchup advantages here if Cleveland can't guard the 3-point line. And on the second leg of a back-to-back, I would not think that they would be able to. But like I said, you got to wait on Donovan Mitchell. And Cleveland's not a team I want to count out, but that 3-point defense has consistently been really, really bad. Shay says Garland is terrible on defense, one of the worst in the league. DMP says, I've said it before, I'll say it again. Phoenix don't want to cover, they just want to win, but this line is low. I'll try it. LJ says, hey, Chris, didn't know if you read about the beef between these two owners of the teams. I did not. He says Suns may take extra pride in this game, and Lakers are right behind them in the standings. I did mention that, and that kind of makes me lean towards Phoenix here, LJ. And the other thing about Phoenix, I said that they were only 14-22 against the spread at home. Phoenix had actually covered some large lines at home as a favorite right before they went out on this road trip. Remember they had beat Philly. Who else did they beat? I know that they beat Philly. It was some East Coast teams. They beat Atlanta. They covered in that spot as well. So Suns after the All-Star break as a home favorite, 5-1 straight up, 3-3 against the number, winning by an average of 6 points. They beat the Lakers, covered, lost to the Rockets. Well, beat the Rockets, but didn't cover. Then lost to the Rockets and didn't cover. Beat the Raptors, but didn't cover. We're laying 10, only covered by 7. But then they did beat the Phoenix Suns and the Hawks. They beat the 76ers and the Hawks. And they were laying 9.5 and 9 in those spots. Now, granted, I don't think the Sixers or the Hawks, not that version of the Sixers, or the version of the Hawks that they played against, are as good as this Cleveland Cavalier team. But you got to remember, Cleveland also coming in here on the second leg of a back-to-back. So I think I lean a little bit more towards the over, even though the Suns 5-1 to the under at home as a favorite after the All-Star break. 5-1 to the under. But yeah, I can't trust either. I can't trust these defenses, man. These are two very, very susceptible defenses, in my opinion. But appreciate you for shouting this out, LJ. Nano says, took the Cavs +5 already. Fox 5 says, what about the Suns in the first half? I could see that. But I could also see, Cavs running out of gas and giving everything they got in the first half. So no play for me there. Fred says, what's good, Chris? Took a tough one last night on Curry over his 22 points. Shaking my head back at it today. What you think about Phoenix first half? I got to look a little deeper, Fred. I'll let you know during the live stream at the 5 o'clock show, but I got to look a little deeper. DMP says no Donovan. Don't bet the Cavs against good teams without Donovan. Chris, can you look up Cavs ATS without Donovan against teams that are 50% or better? Yeah, let's look into that. So Cavs. So the Cavs this season are 12-13 without Donovan Mitchell. That's straight up and against the spread. And if their opponent has a winning record, they are 6-9 straight up, 7-8 against the spread. They've lost the last three though. They lost and didn't cover to the Heat, lost and didn't cover to the Timberwolves, and lost and didn't cover to the Heat again. Those were really bad losses. They lost they lost to the Heat by 3, but they were laying 2.5. Lost to the Timberwolves by 13. They were getting 7.5, and lost to the Heat by 3. I'm sorry, lost to the Heat by 37, and they were getting 3.5. So last 3 have not been profitable without Donovan Mitchell. What about without Donovan Mitchell and they're unrested? And keep in mind, Donovan Mitchell hasn't been rolled out yet. At least I haven't seen it. So without Donovan Mitchell and the Cavs are unrested, 1-6 straight up, 2-5 against the spread. Losing by an average of 9 points and 5-2 to the over. This is a spot where they typically don't play really good defense, giving up 114.6 points per game. And these games came against teams that don't really score. The Hornets on here. The Heat are on here. So yeah, it's not the best spot here. Appreciate you for shouting this out, DMP. Richard says, Suns soft. Trust me. Tasha says she took the under 226.5. She loved J Hit says Cavs done beat good teams without Mitchell, fam. Yeah, they have beat a couple of them for sure. Nando says Booker points under. Tasha says I'm hilarious. I don't know what I did. OKC baby, let's go for Chris. Terry likes Orlando under their 102 team total. Tasha says Boston not losing, baby. I love the chat, man. Love the chat. Terry also likes the Pelicans minus the 4.5. Jamie says late to the chat, but thoughts on the Boston first half minus the 4.5. Also, looking ahead to Friday, I think the Pacers at home versus OKC could be a really solid look if OKC is in a dogfight tonight. Yeah, they match up well for whatever reason. OKC lost that game outright at home, and they were laying 6.5 points to the Pacers. Richard says Lakers going down like the Bucks today. I disagree with this one, Richard. If you're right, I give you some props, but I don't think the Lakers losing to the Wizards tonight. Two totally different teams. The Lakers and the Bucks. Bucks would love to have Anthony Davis. They got Brooke Lopez, who was meaningless in that game last night. Shay says Darius Garland and Sam Merrill trying to check Devin Booker and KD. Yeah, best of luck there. Best of luck there. King Endo says, guys, get that Thunder +9 right now because that line will drop later. Tasha says, Chris, I can't do over in this. It's difficult, Tasha. I'll say this. I'll say that I won't play the total without knowing if Donovan Mitchell is going to be ruled in or not, Tasha. Because like you said, and I looked into it too. The Suns, we just looked at it, 5-1 to the under as a home favorite since the All-Star break. This is typically where they've been playing really good defense. But do you trust the Cavs defense? Cavs 5-2 to the over if Donovan Mitchell doesn't play on the second leg of a back-to-back. And what are the Cavs in general when they're on the road? They're unrested. They are 5-2 to the under. So maybe you got a point there, Tasha. Maybe you got a point. The over that they had actually went to overtime with the Bulls. So really 5-1 to the under. Maybe you got a point here. It is a super high total. The Suns at home specifically are under team. They get really inflated lines. So you make a point here, Tasha. I'm not gonna play it. Suns and home favorite are 17 and 14 overall to the under, and they've been really going under. So since the All-Star break, we said 5-1 since the All-Star break, but just in general, since February the 1st, 7-3 to the under. So yeah, they have been a trending towards the under for sure. They're close though. Games going under by about 4.5 points. But I mean, who cares? As long as it's a point, that's all that matters. Only games they went over to were the Jazz, the Kings, and the Hawks. So all fast-paced offensive teams. The defensive teams have gone to the under. Jazz, Kings, Hawks all went over. Hawks won the second leg of a back-to-back. Yeah, this okay. I'm not gonna argue with you, Tosh. You got it. Richard likes Cavs, Wizards, OKC. He says Vegas not giving money away, throwing all these stats out the window. Okay, Richard, I like it, my brother. Best of luck, man. You cap the games how you cap them. DMP says thanks, Chris. I'm running to the window to take the Suns right now before he's officially ruled out. With them trends, this is a lock. Okay, I don't believe in locks, but okay. What else do you guys say in the chat? Jerry says Lakers need all the wins they can get. Yeah, they're not losing this game tonight. Appreciate my guy Justin says it's a great show. DMP says Sims is crazy. Lakers not losing. Big dog. Who was holding AD and LeBron going to the rack? And this is what I said earlier. If you listen to the breakdown. All right, so let's go to the one play that I did make, and I'm probably gonna make a couple other. They're gonna be small plays though. They will be small plays for me. The NBA has just been really, really tough to bet recently. From a size and totals perspective, in my opinion. It's just my opinion. But I did play this Lakers and Warriors game, this Lakers and Wizards game to go over to 234. And I gave you guys the numbers at the top of the show. I know that was a very long time ago, but it's been it's a pretty big card for today. And like I said, I got a couple other shows that I'm gonna do as well. I just want to check and see what the number is now. So 234 is the number right now. And I would still play it at 234. I think when I gave it out last night, I just want to double check. I think I gave it out at 233 to the YouTube members. Let me just double check real quick. 233.5. So it's only moved a half a point. Understanding that the Wizards have been a really good defensive team, which is crazy, but they are a top 5 defensive rated team. I just don't think either team is going to, be motivated to play a lot of defense in this game. So Lakers and Wizards over. Portland and Charlotte, just going through a recap real quick. Portland and Charlotte, if I'm playing it, and I see the line getting shorter, I told you guys, I think this is the game Portland wins. I opened at 2. It's down to 1. Portland money line tonight, man. It's an ugly play. It wouldn't be a super heavy play, but I think Portland, gets off that losing snide. They've lost 10 games in a row. Charlotte got a bunch of guys listed as questionable. Detroit and Atlanta, probably a look towards the Detroit team total to go over. I think that's the best play in this game. Not thinking that Atlanta is going to play any defense at all. Atlanta team total over. I know that they haven't been able to shoot the ball well recently, but against Detroit, they should be able to do that tonight. And they got major matchup advantages. Also looking at Jalen Johnson over on his points plus rebounds. Not even sure what the line is, but he should eat tonight. Clint Capella double-double, I think, is also in line as well. Memphis and Milwaukee. Milwaukee early, I think, is the best play in that game. First half should be a bounce back spot, revenge spot as well. But you wait because you get a better number when Chris Middleton gets ruled out, in my opinion. OKC Boston over. I think over is the best play in that game. Over to 231. It looks like it's the total right now versus trying to pick a side. But you definitely want to wait to see if SGA is going to play. You also got to wait to see if Jalen Williams and Jaylen Brown are going to play. Like, those are 2 big guys listed as questionable as well in this game. Pacers in Brooklyn, ugly as it sounds, I think it's a Brooklyn spot. It's an ugly spot, but it's a Brooklyn spot. Wait on the Miles Turner news. If he doesn't play, probably like the over a little bit more. But it's probably a Brooklyn spot. That's ugly, though. And the Pelicans in Orlando, like I said, under. The total is dropping down to 208 now, it looks like everywhere, even though it was at 208 when we did the show earlier. I mean, when we capped the game earlier, I like the under 208. And see if you shop around, see if you still get a 208.5, but it is coming down from the 209. Toronto and Minnesota, boy, that's ugly. But I would be looking towards the over in that game. Over 215. The lower the total gets, the more I like the over. Just thinking that Minnesota's not going to be locked in defensively, and Toronto plays with a lot of pace. And they should be able to get whatever it is that they want. But definitely want to check the injury report there. Toronto could get Gary Trent Jr. back as well. I forgot to mention that. He could return in this game. He didn't play yesterday, of course, against the Lakers. So yeah, Minnesota should be able to score, get out and run in transition. And then Cleveland and Phoenix, this is a game that I'm totally staying away from before I know. I need to see what happens with Grayson Allen, because he's a lethal 3-point shooter. And I need to see what happens with Donovan Mitchell. So I'll go over this one when I do the 5 p.m. show later this evening. As always, I appreciate everybody for tuning in, hitting the like button, all that good stuff. What else was I gonna mention? Oh, I am doing the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. Me and my guy Munaf are doing a prop show in about 2 hours at 12:45 Eastern Standard Time. Then I will be on with Cal and Ski at 3 p.m. Eastern on Cal's channel as well. And then I'm doing my show at 5 as well again. So a lot of great, sports betting content for you guys. Hopefully it's helpful. And hopefully you guys, it's all to make some money. So hopefully you guys are profitable at the end of the day as well. But yeah, hit the like button for me if you can. Subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. All my official plays will be linked in the YouTube description as well. Here are resources that I use. I always share these with you guys if anybody's interested in kind of checking these out and kind of learning how to handicap the games and using those resources. And bet responsibly. Best of luck on all your actions. Enjoy the games. Long show. If you join late, I will chop it up and put it in sections game by game. But enjoy the games tonight, everyone. I'll catch you guys in the next one, man. I'm out.